As you know, yesterday was a most important day when 6 particular counts of the indictment against President Trump were summarily dismissed by Judge McAfee. This is very good for us, very good for truth, very good news for the good guys. It is not necessarily over. It is not by any stretch of the imagination complete and total victory for our side, but it is good news. And the reason that it is good news is for the following reasons. First, it slows everything down. It kills the momentum. It destroys the momentum. It destroys the velocity, so to speak. It kills the mood. It kills the feeling. It makes people think, oh my God, it's ominous. It allows for amendments to be later on amendments to be made, I should say. It allows the prosecution to involve itself accordingly. To wonder, do we need this? The basis for the dismissal was very interesting. It did not specify with any specificity what exactly anybody did, how these defendants worked in concert with members of the government to violate their oath of office, if that makes any sense. And I think the judge was correct, because in order for an indictment or a charge to pass, or to have passed constitutional muster, you've got to be specific enough so that, number one, it informs you as to what it is that you're involved in. And also, it is specific enough that in the event you were to plead guilty, they can't bring the charge up against you again. That will be virtually identical to the first time, without you saying, wait a minute, what is this? This looks familiar. This is the same charge. This is the identical charge. What is this? So that being said, we're going to be finding out very, very soon as to the end of this. And if I had to tell you what I would do, as I have said, would say that in no wise, as we say, in no way, has there been any evidence whatsoever of there being grounds to disqualify Fani Willis in her office by virtue of, quote, conflict of interest. Everything that's been said might be indicative of perjury, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, losing the faith of the court. Okay, fine, but short of that, there seems to be nothing that they have said. Because remember, as I've told you, dear friend, a prosecutor could actually be married to another prosecutor. Fani and Nathan could have been husband and wife, and it would not have necessarily dismissed anything. We're going to put that aside. Please make sure you have subscribed. I've got a couple of videos that are just perfect that will be dropped later on. If you subscribe, you will get them as they occur. If you remember, you get them even earlier, and then, later on. Anyway. And the first deals with, what do you believe? And I find this fascinating, was on Elon Musk's mind when he basically summarily dispatched Don Lemon. I'm curious as to what you believe, and then I will tell you my own view of this. Wasn't this wonderful, or was it? What was this about? What happened? What did you notice? What's your take? What's your feel? What is the What is the theory? What's going on? How does this thing work? Well, the first thing we have to do is to realize a couple of things. Number one, we must recognize the fact that the president, excuse me, was that a Freudian slip? I don't know. Mr. Musk is a very smart man. Very, very smart. An exceedingly smart man. A man who does not lend himself. Sean Martin, ladies and gentlemen, a new member. Sean, God bless you. Thank you, sir. Welcome aboard. You must understand that Elon Musk is a very smart man. Okay? Elon Musk, for lack of a better word, is one of us. Would you agree? Of course you would. Elon Musk is a dream come true because we've had no one on our side who is of his financial caliber that has been on our side. None. We've not had it. The good news about this is that he has apparently, and I think it's interesting, he has, by virtue of his involvement, he has indicated a reluctance to be kind of put into the same categories as his other billionaires. But his billionaire status is beyond and above because he has more than just billionaire status. He has rock star status. He has not only, for example, Bill Gates does not have his status. Bill Gates does not. Bezos does not. Bezos is just a hedonist. Bezos is about Bezos. Bezos doesn't even count. Soros has that take. Though I don't necessarily believe that Soros appeals to as many people of the left as Elon does to those of us. And I will say this only for purposes of shortcuts, the right. We are not the left. We might be the middle, but just to identify people immediately, we'll call ourselves the right. I'm offended by that, but it just helps the discussion if we could just come up with some type of a label to explain this. Elon Musk is cool. Elon Musk is interesting. Elon Musk, say what you want. You should not trust him. You should not trust everybody or anybody. You should never trust anybody. Look at this. Lori Cuck says, morning. LK's probably dead, huh? Whoa. Well, we don't know about that. We don't know about that, Lori. I don't know about that. If I had to vote, is she okay? No. 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 And by the way, I hope if you've just joined us, please understand we will stop on a dime for me to answer your questions. And that's the beauty of this, especially when we're doing something which is a live broadcast. I think it'd be safe to say, honey, do you think there's any chance that Kate is just doing fine and just refusing to speak, that she's, yeah.
No, I don't. She's not able to speak.
She's not able to speak. I don't believe she's dead, but if I had to guess something, I'd say she's in a coma. Just guessing. A death, no. And it could be a variety of things. Something that went wrong, a surgery that went wrong, something that went wrong. I don't know what those children are being told. I don't know what that is. For the first time I heard Major Hewitt's name being raised in reference to Diana. Something is happening there. And we're also, remember one thing too, this is very critical. And we'll get back to Elon in a moment. William is going to be the king before you know it. Charles is, by all guess, he is far is sicker than anybody ever imagined, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Apparently, whatever this cancer is far more aggressive, far more problematic, and he is seriously. I mean, he basically is thrown in the towel. He's pretty much suspended stuff. Kate, on the other hand, had things that were planned. Kate's little sojourn was, it could have been a lot of things. Cosmetic surgery. It could have been something involving some particular type of medical treatment that she didn't want the world to know about. But if you go back, her schedule was such that she had planned to do some stuff. Why do I say this? William all of a sudden takes over. And if for some reason there is any discussion, as there's starting to be, about his infidelity, because he has, in some particular circles, been accused by some as being a notorious womanizer. Whether this is true or not, I don't know. We're pretty much on the outside looking in. If something happens to her, God forbid, and by the way, I'm not saying this ghoulishly. I'm looking at all the possibilities, because obviously, let's go back and say what I said initially. There's something, she is not right. She is not communicative. She is not able to speak. She is not able to be seen. And the level of lying, what with this Photoshop, and also supposedly seeing her in the back of the car, back of the Range Rover. Are you kidding me? Dear God. Do you understand what I'm saying? Let's go through it again. Let's just do the process of elimination. Number one, she's not okay. Number two, why did they say she was okay? If Wills takes over and he's the king, they're going to say, you're right off the bat, we don't trust you. Why did you do this? Number three, and I lose track when I start 3, 4, 5. The next one, whatever the next one is, she never had, I don't think she's there yet in terms of being loved. She's not there yet. You understand this? Lori Cuck says, turbo cancer got the king. W is dark. Yikes. Well, let me tell you something. Let's go through this. Remember, let's go through this. Here's William right off the bat. People are going to say, we don't like the way you handle this. This is not. Now remember too, Harry's over here, and think what Megan's think. Megan is just calculating. She's 5, 6, 10 steps ahead, thinking how she's going to work this one out. So let's go through this. Here's the change. Queen dies, whom they love. Chuck finally comes in. Boom, sick, real sick. And people don't like the fact that they're not being told. See, there's one thing about America. Good, bad, or indifferent. They tell us stuff right away. Stuff is leaked. We find out. They tell stuff. They have absolutely, positively, incredibly, they have, how do I say this? For the love of God, they have said, and they have basically indicated to the people, we're not going to really tell you what's going on. We're not going to fill you in. You're not entitled to this. You're not entitled. This is weird. There's one thing about Diana. She was killed. And they were very upset with the queen when she did not come out initially. They didn't like that. They were very upset. Now you got something with Kate. Now they're going to say, wait a minute, you lied to us, Wills. You lied to it. You didn't tell us the truth about your father. You didn't tell us about, and while she was probably in a coma, you were doing this picture stuff. And then you said, and then you lied again. And we're going to say you lied, not the cat, not the Windsor, not the Buckingham Palace, not Kate. You did. You lied. You put this picture of her with the kids Photoshop. And what about these pictures of her in the back of the Range Rover? That wasn't her. This, when she was in a coma. What are you doing to us? And the whole group. The whole group and all of the see, they're in a weird they're like the Piers Morgan types are basically ass kissers. They're sycophantic bootlickers. They really are something. They are absolutely, they bow and scrape, not like in this country. Oh no, no. It's one thing about us, we don't kiss anybody's ass. Nobody's. Lori says, you think Megan has her like misery? No, come on. No, but as I was telling you before, Megan is the most devious, chess-like plotter of anyone. Lori says, kind of kidding. Yes, oh, I understand. Do you want to do the pieces? Here's what happens. Will they ever forgive Will? And by the way, they don't have questions like we do. They don't have press conferences. Willie, yeah. How long did you know about this? How long did you know about this? And how long did you countenance this bullshit that you knew about? Why didn't you say something when you could have stopped this picture? What about the kids? Do they know about this? You're not even in charge and you're already lying to us. What about the picture of her? Honey, didn't they show her recently in the back of that Range Rover?
Well, the side of the head.
The side of her head? When she was in a coma? We can't believe anything you say. Why do you mistreat us? Why don't you just tell us? Doesn't matter why she was in. She went in for some type of procedure. There might have been a problem with anesthesia. She might have had a reaction to such and such. Stuff happens. Things happen. Things are known to go awry. You know, you could have done it, but that's not what you said. That's not what you said. You didn't complain about that. And then the other day when you went to that, now let me tell you something too. And I said it's just for our friend Lori there. Kingston. Remember this? Kingston. Who used to go out with this guy? This is a guy who whacked himself. Pippa. This is Kate's sister. Okay. Then there's this other story about, in fact, when Stephen Colbert is doing jokes about this. See, she never was at the status. Diana was like something you'll never see again. Diana was, in terms of how they loved her, she was, I mean, they just, oh man, and no matter how much dirt they let out, it made her seem more vulnerable. They loved her more. See, that's one thing about PR. The royals are so stupid about this. They just don't care. Why? Because they're royals. They don't run for re-election. They don't care whether you like them or not. They don't care. They're not going anywhere. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? They don't let anybody kid you. The royals own everything. And that goofy guy, Wills, by the way, look at that guy. Got those Windsor choppers. He could eat an apple through a tennis racket, this guy. He's going to be in charge. This is the king. Him. And if, God forbid, but if he becomes the widower king, this is horrible to even say this. What will that do? Let me tell you something. These people are notorious. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm saying, because this is interesting. And I'm surprised. I hope you're as interested as I am, only because these people have a black belt in dirty tricks, black bag stuff. These people are serious. I never bought the story about Diana. I don't know how it happened. I don't know who did what. I don't know anything like that. Many people in this world will say, well, I know what happened. But the one feller there who was the Dark Lord and the sickest son of a gun ever was Prince Philip. And he couldn't stand her. He also couldn't stand Meghan. And when they took that picture, remember, they figured, well, this is Harry. It's okay. When they took that picture with Megan and her mom and her dad and the whole bit, remember the other one? Who was it? Princess Michael had that. They had that Aunt Jemima pic. Oh my God! Some of these people are just you. This mentality. These are the royals. They're better than you. No, I don't mean no. They're better than you. No, I mean as a human species, they think they're godlike, divine, right, and oh my God. Oh, there's no office. We're Americans. We believe in this where you got to get voted in. Oh, you may suck, but you've got term limits and we can throw your ass out. And okay, fine. Look at Trump. Let me tell you something. In a very weird way, my friends, in a very strange way, the mistreatment of Trump, believe it or not, is a testament to our democracy. Nobody's safe. Nobody. That's the United States. We don't care who you are. We don't have kings. George Washington specifically, when they said, what do we call this? When they were talking about king, no, they hated that. We are so not monastic. We are anti-monarchical. We don't do that. That's not our thing. These people were so, do you know how stupid it was? This is how, remember the queen towards the end was not the queen before. Remember when Diana died and they wouldn't do anything? Then they said, do we lower the flag? Well, I don't know. Usually, what the hell is the matter with you people? Well, you see, the protocol would be that she's not royal, perhaps. Does she enjoy her after the divorce? What is the matter with you? Lower the, what are you doing? And then finally, after, then she came out and she walked around, and Prince Phil, he walks around with his hands behind his back. He looks at flowers like, what are these things? What you call them? Flowers? Yes. And are they brought out in a sense of mourning? Is there, and you buy them, or you buy these? What you call them again? Flowers. Yes. He acts like he didn't know anything, and he walks up and they look at they're not real. David Icke might be right. They're lizard people. They look at people like, oh, what is this? Do you remember years ago? I don't know her name offhand. When the queen came here, there was a black woman. They went to see her, went to her house, and she hugged the queen. And they said, you don't understand. You can't hug the queen. And this woman said, excuse me, she's in my house. She's my guest. I'm going to hug anybody I want to. God damn it, I'm an American. I love that. I love that. This is where we're all on board, my friends. All of us. I don't care if you're left or right or whatever it is. We're on board with this one. It's who we are. We don't know no stinking royalty. We don't do that. We don't do it. Sorry. I never was crazy about that old Kennedy thing. And by the way, speaking of which, can you believe how Robert Kennedy Jr. sucks at this? Are you kidding? Jesse Ventura or Aaron Rodgers? What? Well, Aaron Rodgers is tripping out on something, and you can't write this stuff. This guy was never serious. You can't write this. You can't even write this. So I don't know. Now, what I would tell Wills is very simple: is tell him the truth. Tell him the truth. My wife, whatever the Catherine of Essex, whatever the hell she is, I never get these things right. She's in a coma. We need your prayers. And please pray for our children. I worry about those kids. This is their mom, I think. But then these kids, from the time they're born, they're taken away. They got nannies and servants. Do you know that Charles had his, I don't know if this is true, but they always say, had his shoelaces ironed? He never did you hear how they put toothpaste on his toothbrush? I don't know if it's true. You don't understand something. They're not human, these people. They're not human. They're not, and they're the most people you've ever met. Look at Charles with that father. That father who looked at him like, you got to be kidding. This is my kid? Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Sends him to his school that he went to. And they were merciless to Charles because he was a sensitive guy. He wanted to talk to flowers at Balmoral. It was a little weird. Remember when he loved Camilla? Remember they intercepted his phone sex? I want to be in your knickers. What was that? Be careful how you say that. Here we go. Change of subject. Mr. Lionel, DA Fani walks with a slap on the wrist. Well, not yet. We'll see about this. See how good this is? I like that.
They're doing it today.
Today is the hang on a minute. Let me see here. Dear friends. Oh, hang on here. Oh, Kemp's signature allows Georgia prosecutor oversight panel to begin. Okay. Let me see. What's the latest? Hang on a minute. Fani Willis could face criminal perjury charges in Georgia, according to Newsweek. Let's see what the news is. Anything? No, hang on. Fani Willis. Just a minute. Fani Willis. Talk amongst yourself, kids. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Is it today you heard?
I heard today they were going to be working on something.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, as you probably know, don't expect much of anything. People, now we're jumping back to Fani, which is okay. Don't ever talk about me, by the way. I always get this bad rap. It's like, would you stop changing the subject? Well, you're changing the subject. Well, we can do it. I didn't really care. That's the way I like it. I like to talk about all kinds of stuff. There's three things I talk about. I love the Elon Musk thing. I gotta drop on that later on. I love this new thing about, do you believe that this story that so-and-so hang on. I'm going to throw this one. I'm going to really just confuse everybody right now. I'm just going to throw this one out because I love this one. Here's the one. Where is this? Hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. A recent Gallup poll reveals a significant shift in sexual orientation identification among American adults. Now, we're jumping back to this. With only 7% identifying as something other than heterosexual, 7% of adults, increase from earlier. The survey also talks about Gen Zers, 22%. So 7% say that there's something other than heterosexual. These are adults. 7% are gay or non-heterosexual? Okay. But 22% of Gen Zers born between 97 and 2012 identify as LGBTQ+, approximately double this. And the largest subgroup within the LGBTQ+ community is bisexual individuals, accounted for by 57%. Now, let me just ask you this question. Do you believe that 22% of Gen Zers, do you believe that they are non-heterosexual? Let me just flat out ask you, do you believe, and I already did a piece on this, do you believe that 22% are non-heterosexual? I don't know what the hell that's like saying, are you a non-alive? You mean dead? No, non-alive. Do you believe this? Do you believe this? Do you believe that in this population today, truly, not people who say they are, not people who sit in front of a TikTok camera and say they're an elf or whatever it is, but do you honest to God believe that 22% are non-heterosexual? You know what I say? Bullshit. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I believe that the standards, that the Gaussian curve, the distribution of gay there are two people, in my humble opinion, and I love all people, and everybody's entitled to 100% protection under this, the Constitution of the United States, okay? No matter what you are. There is gay and there is straight. And bisexual is a gay person who will occasionally, but most people, most Americans, with numbers that are 100% heterosexual. Now, what does that mean? Now we get into the weeds. Now we get into the weeds and the forest and the trees. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does it mean you're heterosexual? What does that mean? Okay. Let's say I'm sitting here, heterosexual, gay person next to me, gay. We're just sitting here. What does that mean? How are we showing our heterosexual? I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what it means. I have no idea what it means. I have no clue. Yeah, but what are you doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here. Most people, for the most part, are not having sex at any particular time or actively pursuing the opportunities or the possibility of having sex. So consequently, I do not believe in this. I think the vast majority of people are straight, heterosexual. There are some that are truly, absolutely homosexual. Absolutely gay. Bisexual, some people are more experimental. Some people may be a bit tentative. There are people I know, especially I think sometimes listen, there were times when I would look at Mick Jagger and Bowie and I'm thinking on any given day, it could, whatever the wind's blowing, they're just, and then later on things kind of settle down. Some people put it this way. They are more adventurous. To some people, they think nothing of it. I've always felt that. Now, listen to what I'm saying. To most people today, most young kids, sexuality to them is a political party. It's like you. Well, I used to consider myself a libertarian, but today I'm more of a, yeah. Well, you see, I'm more of a, yeah. I'm more, because I'm paleo conservative. I'm more liberal. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. We have this friend, daughter goes off to college, and she goes, guess what? Our daughter is fluid. That's my favorite. Remember binary, non-binary? This was fluid. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. What do you mean fluid? This is before we were into fluidity. She's fluid? You mean she's gay? Nah, she's fluid. Okay. So we have a friend of ours who is a lesbian. And she said something effective. Oh no, that's a college. Yeah. That's no. That's a college thing. They try it out and they don't know. It's very common. Really? Oh yeah. Okay. What is that? Why? Because you see, and women will be able to attest to this. There are some women who are more, shall we say, more smitten to or more attracted to the notion of intimacy versus sexuality. It's intimacy. Let me give you a statistic you probably don't know. And by the way, we started off with Fani, we went to Elon, we went to Kate, and now we're back to this. This is my kind of show. This is my kind of show. In male prisons, which is most prisons, violent, territorial, domination, people doing violent acts on each other, forceful, that kind of thing. Okay, you got it? Okay. You got it? Okay, good. Just want to make sure you got it. You got it? Okay. Do you know what they do in women's prisons? Do you know what they do? Is it violent? Well, occasionally. They have families. They have mothers and sisters, and where do we hear this? Where they comb each other's hair? Was it prison? Yeah, because I've seen this before. I saw this. One time we were walking, we went to this was in a If it's a female prison, we kind of did a tour. And let me tell you something, fellers. If you want to get, if you're feeling kind of down and you're feeling kind of whatever, walk through a female prison. Just walk, just have them look at you. You will feel, for the first time, you'll say like, you'll feel like a piece of meat. You know what I mean? Whereas if you walk through a male prison, you don't feel like that. It's more like, this guy wants to kill me. Whereas this one, because they have not necessarily, it's not that women go to prison and become lesbians. No. But they will revert, or they will embrace intimacy. They will have sisters and like mothers, and it's not violent. It's a different strategy. Why? Because women are nurturers. Women by nature are nurturers. That's why little girls love to play mommy and dolls. Nobody told them what to do. Little boys don't play daddy. Little boys don't do that. There's hardwired stuff. And you can talk about this all you want. And you can identify with whatever the hell you want. But that ain't the way it works. Period. Okay? Sorry. So there are more women who I think tend to become more identifiable as what you would call non-heterosexual, because they look for more things and their emotional palette is far more complicated than males, because they look at intimacy. Next, people, men and women, find women attractive. Why is that? Let me ask you a question, class. Both men and women find women attractive. Have you ever seen women say, "You look beautiful. Isn't she beautiful? She's beautiful. Oh, you look so..." That's completely okay. How many times have you heard women say, "This is my girlfriend"? You know, my girlfriend. Okay. Do you ever have boyfriend? No, we don't say that. No. Women, remember when they used to hold hands everywhere? Women held hands all the time. Everywhere. Remember that, honey? It was like about a month. It was like the biggest thing here. Everybody, all women were holding. Wow. So why do you think? Why do you think most women love women? Why do most women and men find women to be attractive? Not necessarily all men. Why is that? It's very simple. It's very simple. Why is it? It's in our DNA. Yes, Xander, but why? Be specific. Why? Think. Why do you think that is? There has to be an evolutionary reason. Has to be a reason for that. Has to be evolution. Why? A woman's body is the archetype of human beauty? Maybe. 2X chromosomes? That doesn't mean anything. By the way, interesting that you say that. The Y chromosome, for the most part, is genetically inert. The Y chromosome prevents a woman from being born. A man is a mutant woman. Men have nipples. Men have testes that are homologous to ovaries. The penis, the clitoris. The bulbourethral raphe is the labia, the actual adhesion point, dare I say. Think about this. We men are mutant women. And when the blastocyst forms, you don't know what it's going to be. And all of a sudden, okay, it's a man. You go this way. Come on. Hunters and gatherers, that doesn't say anything. It is the shape of the human bodies that is attractive to both, plus the feminine nature of women. Well, the feminine nature of women, that's redundant. You're getting somewhere. It's by God's design and not evolution. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay, well, is God's design cancer? I don't want to get into this. It's evolution. And maybe you could say evolution is God. Okay, here's the answer. Very simple. Do you know what happens if a baby does not find mama attractive? Baby dies. Boy or girl. You've got to be able, they know this. A boy or a girl will look at mother and look at a woman and say that is attractive to me, not sexually attractive, but attractive, nurturing. I feel it. I don't feel the way towards dad. I don't get it, but I get it towards mom. And she better be attractive to male or female, because if we reject mom, we're through. We're done. Here's one for you. Have you ever heard this one? It has been suggested that the more brothers, the more older brothers a man has, the more likelihood he is gay. Did you hear this one? I love this theory. I don't know if it's true, but I like the idea because it's interesting. It works like this. Mother has a baby boy. The mother, X chromosome, says, "What's this?" I don't know. Looks like a baby, but there's something wrong with it. I don't know. Oh, well. Never mind. Baby's born, everything's fine. Next baby, a boy again. Wait a minute. There's that thing again. Yeah, there's that foreigner. There's that alien. What's this about? I don't know. I don't know. All right. Third one. Okay, there it is again. The boy. But then the theory goes, the nature says, we're going to fix it. I'm going to kind of neutralize it. I, through evolution, God, is going to kind of neutralize this one, because this is it's almost like the body wants to reject it, doesn't know what it is. So we're going to kind of neutralize it. We're going to fix it, right? So all of a sudden, we'll make it be less male, perhaps more female. And that, so the story goes, is why if you're the youngest boy and you have a number of older brothers, that means your mother and her body and nature basically rejected you. I don't believe any of this because I don't have any reason to believe this. I'm just a regular, civilian. But I like the idea of it. Next point. Gay is not a disease. It is not a pathology. When people say, why do you, what causes gayness? Excuse me, what causes straightness? What causes blue eyes? I do not believe at all that it is something that anybody ever decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change. I'm just going to adopt this. Now, also remember something that you can do. You can have all the behaviors you want. You could make love to a cactus, and that doesn't mean anything. There are some people who, by virtue of their crowd, the way they think, the way they're raised, the particular environment, especially if they're in show business, remember that they shoot up a snake if you hold a head. They don't care. Doesn't matter to them at all. Then comes this notion of social media, and people will sit in front of this thing, like libs of TikTok showed us, and say, yes, I'm an elf. I answer to the West African clicking noise. I'm like, what the hell is this? What are you talking about? Remember this one? Remember this one? And they did it. They came out of nowhere. These people said, where are you from? Where do these people come from? It became like a political party. Everyone wanted to, like our friend who's fluid, by the way, back to normal, had a college fling, per usual, nothing special. And by the way, sometimes the parents get all disappointed because they can't wait to have that gay son or daughter so they can say to their other friends, their other progressives, hey, I knew a woman, look at me, I've got a fluid daughter. I knew somebody one time, sort of, who was so happy, this was before this happened, years ago, that her son was wearing like nail polish and wanted to wear a dress to school. She was thrilled. Why? Because she's an Upper West Side lefty who wanted to, who thought this was cool. I don't know if that's cool or not. So the bottom line is simply this, in my humble opinion, you are what you are, and most people are either gay or straight. Sorry, I know, and most people are gay. Excuse me. Most people are heterosexual. That's just the way it is. Nothing personal. Now, how you live a lifestyle is up to you. Up to you. Okay? You can be a vegetarian. You can be a carnivore. It's up to you. What you are inherently and innately, different story. What you force yourself or convince yourself to do is quite the other. Now, one more thing about Elon Musk, and I'm going to say that before we go. Elon Musk set that rat bastard Don Lemon up, and Don Lemon tried to set him up. Don Lemon went to CNN and said, do me a favor. This is my hypothesis. Do me a favor. Let me back. I'm sorry. I don't know what I said. I can't take this. I know you settled for the 20, whatever, but if you believe that, please do me a favor. Just let me back in. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've got this thing on X. How about if I set Elon up? I'll ask him questions about ketamine and this and that and replacement theory and X. Please. He'll shit can me. I'll go back to CNN. Please let me. I can't. I'm not cut out for this. Let me tell you something. Once you've been in a network, and Tucker will find this out, it's very difficult to go back to this thing where you're sitting in your living room or your rumpus room with a camera. It's very difficult. Did you see Don Lemon's face smirk? Did you see him smirk? We were talking to Aaron, Andrew, whatever her name is. Who watches that show? Who watches it? Now, you might say, well, you know what? Should Elon have canceled it? Elon does what Elon wants to do. That's all. He does what he wants to do. All right, dear friends, let me thank you. Let me thank you. Today, there's a possibility. I'm going to do another live. We had a wild week this week in the evening. So I'm going to do a late afternoon live. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are known, because I'm going to go later on and I've got stuff to do. There's a good possibility. Depends, because we're going to change things. We're going to change a lot of different. So you've got to be ready to go. And by the way, Lori Cuck, thank you for sending us off into the Wills thing. By the way, Wills and Kate, which I think is fascinating. Fani will. Anything breaks with Fani, you know where to go. We'll talk about that. We'll see what happens. I want to thank you. Thank you. Liz Solak, by the way, look at this. She's the den mother. God bless her. Make sure you like this. Thumbs up. How are we doing on these, by the way? How are we doing on this? I need at least 7,000 likes. I need 7,000 likes. I know it's much to ask, but I need 7,000 likes. Anyway, dear friends, you have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for being a part of this. You mean so much to us. I love speaking with you. You make my day. Do you understand this? You make my day. All right, friends, and don't forget, follow Mrs. L. She's got some stuff that will blow your mind. Wait till you see Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Lynn's Warriors, LYNN''S. Lynn's Warriors. Do I have to spell Warriors? WARRIORS. Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you do that. All right, dear friends, we love you. Have a great and glorious day. See you later. Don't forget, subscribe. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dead.